Good afternoon, everybody. This is Women's Action here with a new video on travel depression too. So the winds are up to 35 miles an hour, and the pressure is down to 1,005 MB. There are some changes to the Washington warning since yesterday. They have issued a storm surge watch from the Alabama-Florida border to the mouth of the Mississippi River of storm surge up to 4 feet, which I'll show in a second, and a tropical storm watch from the Okaloosa River, Florida westward to the Jefferson Poco Mines Parish border in Louisiana. And they may issue more watches and warnings as a result as more comes in. So as it gets more closer to landfall. So yeah. So here's the current satellite imagery. The storm is a bit disorganized a bit though. There is some shear coming in from the northeast, which is basically like making the system more disorganized to the south. In fact, the convention is more here. You don't really see that much convention at all. So as of right now, the system will remain disorganized a bit though until landfall too. So the recon has shown me a bit though, like 1,005 MB, like a little bit here. It is trying though, but the wind shear is keeping it at bay a little bit. Here's the current wind shear map though. Like I said, it's the northeasterly wind shear, keeping the storm at bay, preventing the convection from consolidating into the low level circulation. Here's the current track forecast. There were some changes to the intensity forecast though. Initially, it had the models were showing a bit more of a stronger solution, showing it more like a 60-mile-an-hour storm. But now it downtrended to 50 mile an hour, and like 50 mile an hour peak, and then hitting it as a 45 mile an hour storm in Louisiana, and then weakening to a tropical depression. This will change though. In fact, it could even dissipate though, depending on how bad the wind shear disrupts the circulation though. So please be aware of that. Here's the current storm surge forecast map. The worst of the storm surge is right about here, but please be careful, especially in low-lying areas near the shore. It could be a bit. Yep, sorry. Here's the current rainfall forecast. So as I explained, the wind shear is keeping the storm at bay, and any further track deviations will either make the rainfall more south, like a bit more like here, or the north basically comes more like brings it more into here, depending on how the system does and how the models turn with the system though. And this is why things change sometimes though. They can show it this way one day, and then the next day the models can change the forecast and the track of the system though. You gotta be aware about though. So here's the current flash flood risk though, which like I said, it will change. And the current biggest flash flood risk, which is basically more of a slight though right now, is basically in southern Louisiana. So please be aware of the weather forecast on Wednesday and Thursday. Here's the like I said, I'm talking about the model data. The European is still a bit bearish on tropical development. The GFS uptrend a bit though, but I'm not showing it because GFS can be a little bit finicky sometimes though. So here's the European AI. It has downtrended a bit though, as you can see. In fact, sorry, here it was like 1,002 yesterday, and then today it downtrended. So that's basically and that's what the European AI shows. The Google DeepMind though, I don't have access to it. I'm just getting it from a guy on Twitter. Here's this morning's model examples. It's a bit it's a bit more bearish yet compared to yesterday. In fact, here's the see look. It's a bit more like more sorry. Okay. It's a bit more like stronger than yesterday. It's not yesterday. Sorry. It is more weaker than yesterday. My apologies. And here's in And as I explained, the models have got more bearish, and as a result, the storm is expected to, well, it's still changes up, but it could also like go up to 50 and then go down to 45 for landfall, and that's basically about it. So I'll be back tomorrow with a video and see how the models show, and I'll be back to you tomorrow. Bye.